little introduction here to help everyone to welcome everyone in. We are live, and it's our Thursday live, and we want to enjoy everyone that's coming in. And so we got a full house tonight. Look here, and so it is Thursday again. And so thanks for everyone for joining us. And I'm gonna let Charlene talk. Charlene, welcome our audience in, and then I will go from there.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Thriving Thursday conversation. Before we get to our conversation, let me just tell you a little bit about First Home Alliance, who we are, what we do, um, where we provide these services. So, First Home Alliance, we are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency established by our president and founder, Mr. Larry J. Laws. Inception came because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65, and so I'll say this and I'll keep saying it. Y'all probably get tired of hearing me say it, but that's a big deal to me and to his family. That was a huge deal as well. And so, after serving his country almost 25 years in the United States Army, he decided to serve his community, and he's been doing that ever since. Or First Home Alliance has been doing that ever since. Now, what is our mission? Our mission is to increase sustainable homeownership to low to moderate income families, along with serving our veteran communities. What are the services that First Home Alliance provide? So we provide pre-purchase counseling as well as education counseling. Hey, I want to buy a house. I have no idea what I'm doing, where to start. We help you build that home buying team. Education, we have our Thriving Thursday, so that really doesn't fall underneath our education, but our first time homebuyers class, which we offer every third Saturday of the month in the Northern Virginia area. Now that falls underneath our education category. Other services that First Home Alliance provide is loss mitigation. What is that, Charlene? What you talking about? Loss mitigation. I'm currently a homeowner and I'm experiencing a hardship, whether it be through COVID, whether it be through death, disability, divorce, or what we have going now. Maybe you're a government employee and have been impacted by what has been going on. In terms of our federal employees. And so if that is the situation, First Home Alliance will act as an advocate to work with you and your servicer to get you in a more better position to be able to sustain home ownership. We also offer rental counseling as well as emergency preparedness services. Now, where are these services provided? Again, I repeat myself, we're everywhere. We are located in Virginia, Maryland, as well as the south side of Chicago. Sometimes I forget. And so, but that means nothing. We are virtual, so it doesn't matter where you're located. First Home Alliance can assist. So we want you to stay tuned, listen to our Thriving Thursday conversation, and then find out how you can get those services from First Home Alliance if I piqued your interest. Larry?
All right. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Charlene. And welcome everyone on Thursday. So if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so. We also like for you to hit that like button, hit the like button, and also subscribe. Once you subscribe and you'll get and hit the notification, anytime we go live, you'll get a notification to come and join us. Of course, we're trying to grow our community, and our community is here to help you thrive in the community, to help you thrive as an individual, whether it's financially, health, and wellness. And so with that, and so what if you have your wellness, and if you're not healthy, then we do highly encourage that. So you hear us talking about yoga and exercise and all those great things, and bring on those speakers as well. But of course, tonight we're going to talk about the wellness and financial wellness. And so I want to introduce back to the platform, back in our room here in the studios, Victor. And Victor has a guest. So Victor, go ahead and let everyone know, welcome everyone, and also introduce your guest, speaker that you have with you tonight.
Thank you, Larry, for having us in this space. I'm very excited to be here with everybody. Another Thursday where we bring you value, and that's the mission. Uh, Yes, for if you're joining for the first time, my name is Victor. I'm part of the Finance Literacy Campaign to World System Builder. We have a mission to educate 30 million people by the year 2030. And we have workshops. That's how we do it. We encourage you to contact me so you can get that information, that link, so you can actually sign on the workshops that I have. Help me with this tremendous amount of knowledge from basic budgeting to learning about investments. But today we have a topic will be about budgeting. Is part of course, an ingredient for finances. But before we get into the topic, I do have the pleasure to share the stage with Chelsea Amaya. She's a leader, young rising leader in the community here, educating families, and that's what we actually do. We provide education, financial education, to anybody that's willing, anybody that needs it, and we even do PFS, a personal finance strategy, totally for free, so you know where you are, what your goals, what assets you have, and especially if you don't have access to a financial advisor, that's where we come in. But Chelsea, welcome. Thank you for being here, and let's tell a little bit to the audience a little bit about yourself, and and then we'll discuss a little bit about the topic that we bring tonight, which is budgeting. So thank you again.
Sure. Thank you so much, Larry, for inviting us. I know I came on super last minute, so I want to thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Victor, also for inviting me. Yeah, I'm Chelsea Amaya. I'm based here in Houston, Texas. Um, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've been a part of World System Builder for about 2 years, a little over 2 years, and it's dramatically changed my life because of our workshops that we offer and things like that. One of those huge milestones that I was able to accomplish, as I don't know if I shared my age, I'm 21. I bought my first house earlier this year, before turning 21. So at 20, buying our first home, and I think something like this, First Home Alliance, where they're trying to help the community the best way they know how, and purchasing that first home. I wish we would have had someone like that, to help guide us, because we really kind of just went in blind and we're like, oh, we just want to buy a house. How do we do that? And we kind of just turned to social media. So I'm just now learning about First Home Alliance, but it sounds like a great program. And this Thriving Thursday lives that they do, especially changing, how we view the market, because a lot of times we want to go to a real estate agent or even a financial advisor, whatever it may be, some sort of profession, and they're, oh, whoa, this is my fee, right? So thankfully here at World System Builder, we do not charge for our services, which I think is the best part, because now we are serving Middle America, and I think Middle America is the greatest portion in all of America. So, bridging that gap between us and the wealthy. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right, right. Well, thank you, Chelsea, again for being here. There you have it, a young entrepreneur, 20 some years old, and already bought a house. And thanks to organizations like Home First Alliance, we're here with Larry, that makes that possible. There, the dream home, or the opportunities to be a young person, and or anybody can have those resources available. So thank you, Larry, for the work that you do, and but yeah, before we jump into that topic of budgeting today, which is very important and dear to my heart, because it is discipline, and I'm going to share some concepts that we can actually build on. And I just want you audience to take notes, and to learn a thing or two and apply it to your finances, which is very practical, because finances could be complicated, but that's where World System comes in here. With our financial education, we make it very simple, just like talking to a friend. But I just wanted to check back with Larry to see if he has anything would like to add. Um,
No, Victor, I'm ready. I really appreciate you guys coming in, and I'm ready for the conversation, and share what you have with our audience.
all right, excellent, excellent. All right, so let me just go ahead and share my screen really quick. So I have
Yeah.
prepared some information. If I can do that, let's see. We can get there. All right. So if in the meantime, if you have missed some of the previous presentations, you can check those out. It is very important. Last week, um, we covered debt management, which is very important also in the finance in the finance aspect. And also, okay, so I'm sharing my screen here, and let's see here. So, but today we will be covering budgeting, mastering budgeting, the foundation of financial freedom, and that's my information. And I'm a licensed professional. That's my phone number, and you can scan the barcode to provide me more information. And here also, I would like to share if you want to get in contact with Chelsea Amaya, and she can do PFS financial. A, a financial review totally free and no cost to guide you with your goals, where you're going, and how you can do that. Scan forehead information as well. All right, so you can either contact me or her. All right, but again, thank you for being here. I just want to share a little bit of our information, what we're going to cover today. And just want to make sure, can I get a yes that I'm sharing my screen? Just want to make sure that our audience can see it as well. All right. All right. So budgeting it matters. The foundation of budgeting and taking the financial control. It allow us to track the expenses. It empowers you to make informed decisions. It prevents us overspending, building confidence. So it's very important to be organized with our finances. Like I say, we work hard for our money. We want our money to work for us. There are many rules, but we try to make it really easy. Here is a 50-20, 50, 30, and 20 rule. So basically means we need to take care of our needs, usually the 50%, the ones 30%, and the savings 20%. All right. So needs, rent, utility, what we have to have once, that's choices, and savings, of course, that's the discipline, emergency fund, investment, debt management, that's the 20%. So there is a kind of good rule to remember and to keep in mind, when you manage your finances. There are some steps to creating a strong budget. We want to identify total income, list categorize expenses, and this is exactly what we do with individuals. I have helped many families, as well as Chelsea. We sit down, we say their saving investment. We actually give them a track to manage their debt payment with a roll-up method, or to track their monthly payments. So you can use different apps or different tools that I will be letting you know here in just a moment. And automate savings. So if you don't see it, you don't out of sight, out of mind type of thing. So make sure that you set up a checking account if you want to save in another state, so you don't have access. So that is a good tip. Common budgeting mistakes to avoid: ignoring small expenses that add up, not adding for regular income, forgetting to plan for annual surprises. For example, taxes. Here in Virginia, we pay taxes. So October 5th coming, you want to make sure that you saving for that. Even Christmas, or a birthday party, or want to make sure that you have those save up. Failing to track progress consistently. So we have to be consistent. There are some tools, free budgeting templates, financial literacy workshop. Like I mentioned, I'm part of the financial literacy campaign, and I invite you and I urge you to come and check out the workshop, which you're going to learn a lot on our workshops. We have a ton of information with financial professionals with 20, 40 years of experience, and they will walk you through these concepts more in depth. So we encourage you to come and check this out and work with a financial professional like myself or Chelsea to help you and guide you. Um, and here is our mission, and we invite you to become part of our mission. We have a ambiguous mission, a big mission to educate 30 million people by the year 2030. But we just need more persons just like you and Chelsea to help us reach the mission. Financial education isn't an option; it is essential. Join the movement. Take control of your finances today. And again, that is my information. That's my phone number, my page, and go ahead and contact Chelsea or myself for additional or more one-on-one guidance with your goals and with your needs, the financial need that you might have. So with that, it's going to stop sharing, and we're going back to the conversation style here. So Chelsea, what are some of the takeaways? I mean, I know I share a lot of their rules, the 50, 30, 20 rules. And it is very powerful. Like you and I understand when budgeting, we are part of the portion of the PFS when we sit down, because when somebody sat down with me and they asked me how much I spend for gas, how much I spend for insurance, how much I spend, and I went. Sometimes I was scratching my head because I know I have kind of an idea, and then I look at my bank account. But when it comes to budgeting, it is very important to be structured, to have solid, because we work really hard for our money, and you do, and Larry does, and everybody, and all our viewers. But we want to make sure that we have that under control, because sometimes we, paying all these kind of things coming out of our bank account, we have control. So what would you recommend our viewers, based on your experience, some tips that you would like to provide as additional?
Honestly, a tip, just do it. Just do the budgeting, do the PFS, the personal financial strategy. I know sometimes it can be scary. You're like, oh no, I know I have a lot of debt. Oh, I know I have these credit cards. But once you get a good idea, okay, you see the whole image, you see the big picture, you know exactly how to make a plan. And sometimes we don't know how to make a plan. So I joined this campaign when I was 18. The first time I did my personal financial strategy, I looked at that piece of paper. I was like, I don't spend on any of this stuff. I just came from living with my parents, and I was, I didn't have a lot of expenses, right? But I quickly realized, okay, so how is it that I make over $1,000 a month? Well, I had two jobs, so I was barely making over $1,000 a month. But all my money's gone, and I don't supposedly spend, right? So the PFS gives us a good idea. Like sometimes unconsciously or subconsciously, we are spending, right? And now with so many things on social media, TikTok is selling stuff now, Instagram, Facebook. And then how many times we get that notification, Amazon, oh, you got a deal on this, or we added this back to your cart. And so it's super easy to be to get distracted on your financial goals. So my suggestion, my number one tip, just do the personal financial strategy. Just get an idea and just understand a little bit of what your situation is.
Well, Chelsea, with your age, I mean, you're only 2 decades,
Yeah.
and so, and I've seen quite a bit of youth that only been around for 2 decades, and a lot of these guys, they're not that prudent when it comes to the awareness of where their money. And so, how did you come around to start tracking, your expenses and income?
Well, number one, I had clear goals, right? I want to become a millionaire before I turn 30. So becoming a millionaire doesn't mean you spend all the money too, right? It has to be saving, it has to be investing. So it's having a clear goal. A lot of my peers, my generation, we don't have always that goal, and we don't always think so far ahead. But I started when I became a part of World System Builder, I started hearing about all these other people who have been in the industry 20, 30, 40 years. And I was like, wow. And this is how much money they make. And this is what they're doing. They're doing the same thing I'm doing, but they've just been doing it longer. And I'm like, wow, that could really be me in the next 20 years, right? So even though I don't have as much experience, I think work experience as both of you, I do consider myself, not an expert, but I'm getting there, right? I'm working towards that. So I do know a lot. I think I know a lot more than most of my peers. So I think that gives me an advantage to working towards my goal.
Yes. I think I used that word expert, and I so that word expert and professional and things like that. It's good if someone's paying you for what you're doing. Then I guess you could definitely could be considered an expert, or definitely a
Mhm.
professional anyway, if
Yeah,
you're
for
being
sure.
paid for that. Yeah, but that is really great. But back to Victor. Victor, you was talking about the 50, 30, 20. And so talk to our audience of how they come up with considering what should be covered in that 50%.
Okay, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So basically, the 50% does take the big chunk of our paycheck,
Hmm.
right? Yes, that is a one of the things that we say here in the campaign is that everything has a formula.
Hmm.
Even there is a wealth formula. There is a formula to calculate just about everything. How much to have an emergency fund. But to going back to your question, Larry, um, it is kind of a reference. The 50% takes care of the utilities, the rent, basically the needs. That without that, that has to be covered, right? And then we move on to the 30%. That's actually more linear, where you have the ones. So that's kind of a reference to for our viewers to actually keep that in mind.
So,
Because
so
when I
you,
learned about the rule, I went into my budget like, wait a minute, no, I need to separate this bucket for this bucket for that, and to be more disciplined, to have kind of a clear picture, and it helps you guide
but
right your
I know
expenses.
some 20-year-olds that when you start talking about needs, and that 50%, they it's a lot of things. They matter of fact, they have this conversation that you have to have a cell phone, you need internet. And so and a lot of, I'm quite sure it's a lot of subscriptions and things like that. And so Chelsea, what some of you do you some of your colleagues, maybe not necessarily in the professional arena, but some of your friends, do they battle with that, those needs?
Yes, I hear it a lot all the time. Uh, Uh-oh. They're struggling right now, right? They are living paycheck to paycheck. So sometimes they don't even have their 50% of their income isn't even going to utilities or their expenses. It's 100%, right?
Mhm.
So I do see that right now. But it's also some of these kids are spending on stuff they do not need. It's I've seen a lot of them. Hey, brand new car, $500 payment, but you don't need a brand new car. So you easily someone could say, "Oh yeah, I'll easily $500 car payment, not a problem," right? And they got them with that low interest rate, right? Um, but then you tell them to save those $500, and they're like, "Oh no, that's way too much. I can't do that." So it's also having that you got to switch the mindset. Are you paying someone else or are you paying yourself?
Right. Yeah. And Charlene, I'm quite sure you and Victor, y'all meet a lot of different people. And probably now, when you start talking about cutting back and really analyzing what you're considering need, and there's a few people that's missing paychecks, some of them on furlough and things like that, to start evaluating that. And so talk about, maybe some ideals of that where people maybe can start, that evaluation of what's needs and wants.
Um, I think, you know, I want to say this about our region. When we're not furloughed or what have you, this area, I think the income is pretty decent, in terms of our region. If like I have family that live in Louisiana, further south, and when they compare like our regular salary, they're like, oh, that's a lot. But for us, I'm like, man, I'm borderline poverty. What are you talking about? But to them, it's like, no, that's good money. So I feel like, some of the biggest problems is when you're used to getting a paycheck. It's like it's no big deal. Like if I overspend because of the fact I'm gonna get paid again on the 15th or I'm gonna get paid again next Friday. And so now that some of us are experiencing a loss of income, it's almost, I'm not gonna say shell shock, but to a certain degree you are, because you're used to going to Walmart or wherever and just putting that extra stuff in your basket. It's no big deal. So when you talk about like how do I even start? How do I even wrap my mind around like, oh, I gotta be on a budget and I actually gotta stick with it. Like it's almost like being on a diet. You don't want to tell nobody because when they see you eating that pizza, they're like, I thought you was on a diet. And I'm like, mind your business. You know what I mean? But it's the same thing with the budget. It's like you don't want to be honest and tell somebody because hey, isn't that your second shot? Yes. So I had a rough day, you know? So when we talk about that, like, how do I wrap my mind around what is a need versus a want? Because when we think about it, if we look at our budget, a lot of the stuff that we do is a straight up want. It's like it's not a need, but now we've gotten ourselves accustomed to it, so it feels like a need, and it's actually a want. I don't know, Larry. I would say, where do I start? Probably Shein, Fashion Nova. Stop being online, ordering some things. You see it's a sale. Maybe it went from being $40 to $20, and you feel like, no, I'm saving money, so let me still get it. Those areas, I would say you start there. The internet is the devil. It used to be where like Larry, you had that method, that cash method. I don't know if you still do that, the $40 a week or whatever. And you say how
It's probably less now.
right. Mine's like 15.50 for a week.
Yeah.
So that cash method, you try and figure out like, it used to be credit card was better than the cash method, but I don't know. I feel like we need to flip it and go back to the cash method versus
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, one of my youth, just a couple of weeks ago before I went out of town, we sat down and did the budget,
Mhm.
the spending plan. And so not necessarily cash because I like to use cards. So because one of the big things was Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, they love to drink coffee and things like that. And so there was an agreement. I didn't set the amount. I just gave the idea of getting gift cards. And
Mhm.
so they're going to not a gift card or a store card. So a Starbucks card. And then whatever your monthly amount, go ahead and pay for it. And you charge that card once a month. And it's for Starbucks. And so you don't pull out the credit card, you pull out the Starbucks card. And when that $50 is up for the month, then it's gone. And
That's a good
so you
idea.
don't have to stop Starbucks, but some people are spending a couple of $100 on Starbucks. So I got a cup of tea and it was like $8. Someone told me to get a medicine ball. And so once I saw them do that medicine ball and it was $8. Just think if I went and got one of those each day of this, 30, 10 days, that's $80. So that's
Yeah.
20 days, 160. So if I got a medicine ball of 30 days, was that $240 on a medicine ball or a cup of
Right. You could
tea?
go old school, get you some big vapor rub, put it on
Right. I stopped at the grocery store, got me some honey. We picked
your
a bag of lemons, and then we pulled that tea out of the cover. And so I'm making my own tea now.
hmm that part. I think we as a society are so, I don't know, to a point we're spoiled. We just straight up spoiled. And we just used to all these luxuries. And now, some of us is really going through it and you don't realize that you're spoiled until you can't spoil yourself no more.
And
Then
now, Victor, you the one who came up with this needs and wants and things like that.
Exactly.
shame on
Yes,
you.
This is
yes.
your ideal, okay?
That's and I hear you both of you, and I hear Chelsea, and here with the topic. I mean, it's very interesting because there are many moving parts here, and but what it comes down to is discipline. And it's not easy to be disciplined when it comes to budgeting. Like Charlene mentioned, it's like being on a diet, right? That you kind of have to force, but it is very important because like I said, we work hard for our money, and one of the key things that Chelsea mentioned is that what it helps is having goals. While maybe I'm young, I want to get my motorcycle. I always wanted to get a motorcycle, and work for that. But at the end of the day, what do I really want? What how much is going to take? How many months? And when you plan that out, and also when you put an interest to maybe if we found $100 extra and we put it on a saving account that's yelling that yells 13% interest. I mean, you're talking about some serious money over time. and that's one of the wealth formulas that we teach in the campaign, on the workshops. That's why I encourage everybody to go on to the workshops to learn about the money formulas and all these other formulas. Valerie, and there is other aspects too, to be disciplined, to track. And there are so many apps right now that helps us, reminders with AI coming, that help us, to put this in place, right? So to be organized with our money, because sometimes, when we go over the spends, some of our clients, they're paying for direct TV and all these channels, and they're paying like 200. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I think Netflix might be enough, for some folks, but I can see like.
They still have Dish. Dish Network still exists. Like people still have that.
So some of them, they do have it, exactly, and the sad thing is that they don't even know that, hey, when you got things on automatic, and I mean, you forget about it, and that could be a convenience, but it could also work against you, because you're like, oh, wait a minute, and that's when you're not paying attention to your finances. So that's what we're talking about today, budgeting, and it's very important to track your expenses, and also another area, even. Sometimes you have a fee that might be a one time you get a bounce check, and you can call the creditor. You're like, hey, is wasn't my mistake. Whatever happened, the company can see your payment history, and they could give you a waiver as a courtesy. So that's another. You can sell yourself there $35 or return check fees, or even ATMs. Make sure that you use that. I mean, there's all sort of strategies, and some of our viewers might be aware, some might not, but these are strategies. When you add up all this, it adds up at the end of the month, at the end of the week. So let's make sure we take advantage of all those strategies. Chelsea, anything else that you can think of that might come to mind as we help clients, because we want the customers to keep most of their money, right, and to help them, right, because when they find extra cash, they can put it to work, like we say, let the money work for you while you sleep. So.
One of the things I would like to add, our workshops, our workshop number 2. So every week we have, several workshops, 6 to be specific, 6 workshops Monday to Friday, multiple times a day online, where you can register for free and just learn. But specifically workshop number 2, we talk about 23 different ways where you can cut down costs, where you can, call your insurance company and say, hey, let me raise that deductible from $500 to $1,000. Yeah, if you do get into an accident, yes, you do have to pay those $1,000, but now your payment is going to be less. So in the long run, you are saving money, right? And let's just say you're a good driver. There's not very many of those these days, but let's just say you're a good driver. You shouldn't have to worry about paying that deductible, right? So there's lots of ways. Even on your phone, how many times we forget about, how many music apps like Pandora. And my mom had Pandora for years, and she didn't realize she was paying like $12 every single month to keep her premium package, right? Even though she was just using the free version, but she had this Pandora account, and every month they're charging, right? And then what happens with the Apple Music or other apps like that too? How many times your kid grabs your phone and, they know how the Face ID and the passcode works. There's 3-year-olds that know exactly how to work an iPhone these days.
I know. It's crazy.
How many times do they purchase something without you knowing?
Yeah.
I came into a family like that. I came across somebody like that when I was doing their PFS, and they looked into their bank statements one time. And we're just kind of going through it together. I was like, well, just look into your bank statements. Look into your monthly, your monthly expense. And I kid you not, $100 every month for a game.
What's that called? That Roblox or whatever that?
I don't know what game it was, but some game they're spending over $100 every month. and the mom had no idea.
Yeah, I've been a member of Planet Fitness for I think 2-3 years, and I quit during COVID. Like I didn't realize it until I think a couple months ago that I was still paying her $10 or $12 or something of that nature. And I'm telling you guys, I thought for sure that I canceled that membership, and I don't know what made me look at my statement and I see Planet Fitness. Then I type in Planet Fitness, and then all these transactions come up, and I'm like, we could clearly see that I'm not going to Planet Fitness, but you guys are taking my money. It's that kind of stuff that you guys were talking about, especially we live in a world of automatic. You know what I mean? And we do that. A lot of us do that to make sure that we're responsible, to make sure that it's being paid. But look what's happening to us in the long run. People are getting their money for free. So I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah, it reminded me, Chelsea, as you were talking. When my child was small, we went out to eat. And how the server comes out with a machine. You can even slide the bar to tip the server, and at the end to pay. So anyway, my child, he was minding his business. He was pushing all kind of buttons when I come. He had downloaded some games, and I was like, well, I came to eat. I didn't come to play. He's like, oh no, your son. But I mean, that goes to show, like you were that we are saying, there are kids that they get in their parents' devices, and if they're not paying attention, because it's small, it's not that noticeable, right? But at the end of the day, everything adds up. So yes, is very important to keep track of all that. So
I think it really goes back to what you guys was talking about, the discipline. The little kids do it with the games. Don't let me go out, with my girlfriends. You get to drink it, you have a budget, and before you know it, you done bought a whole bottle. And it's like, when did this happen? So it's really about that discipline, and I think sometimes for us, that's what's the tricky part, is being disciplined.
Right, and also, when it comes to budgeting, that doesn't mean that you have to starve, or to
No,
not to be able to enjoy life, because at the end of the day, that's what we work hard for, right? I mean, but I think we have to be strategic. For example, there are happy hours where they actually charge you less. You can still drink, and so, but it's all about being strategic about your money you're spending. And like you said, don't not splurging, right? So that's what it comes down to.
I
So
think the problem is you don't know that you're broke until you're actually broke. You know what I mean? Like, you don't realize it until you're actually broke. I think for some of us, it's like, because again, it's those habits that we have. And so, because of the fact that you're used to that, or, Larry used to say for I don't know how many years, on Fridays, you went to happy hours. What did you say, 20 years? So
That's 20 plus years. From 1980 to 2008, 28 years straight.
you see what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
it's the habits that we have that we become accustomed to, that you don't realize it. I don't know, Larry, what was your trigger that you said, okay, I'm no longer going to happy hour? You had a trigger.
I had a life altering event. Uh, in 2008, I had a heart attack. So I changed a lot of things I was doing after that.
Mm-hmm.
So going
So
to
he
happy
had that
hour.
heart attack, y'all. He's still probably doing.
But really, I found reasons to go to happy hour. It started, when I first joined the military in 1980, because of course I don't recall happy hour before coming into the military, but it was just something common that you did on Friday at 5 o'clock, and at 5:15 you saluted, when they did the retreat, and you go and have happy hour. Then after getting out of the military, even I did the 5 o'clock on Fridays, just to stop to avoid traffic. So I always came up with a reason to do it. But speaking of budgeting, it was a way, if you was going to spend that time, because these happy hours are sometimes at restaurants or clubs or hotels. And so that was the time to go and network, and it wouldn't cost you a lot. And a lot of times, the happy hour in the military, you didn't pay for the food. And so in the military, most of the facilities on base, when you went there, definitely when I was overseas, they had hors d'oeuvres and things like that. So you could stock up there and get a meal, especially before I was married. That's I didn't want to cook, and so I would go to happy hour and fill up on the food, and then so it was a way of saving as
Mhm.
well. So I found
Hey, we women, we used to be able to save like that, but now they want you to go half on drink. So, we can't necessarily.
One more thing to add there. Sometimes those restaurants, certain restaurants, they say, "Oh, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, kids eat free with the entree, right? With the adult entree." So taking advantage of those little perks too, or even having the rewards program. Sometimes the rewards programs are actually really good, and they say, "Oh, free dessert or free appetizer, things like that." So taking advantage of those little things helps us keep that budget a little nicer, right?
That part, because AARP, I used to think that was just for seniors, and I think it was you, Larry, and my mother, I think, told me there's so much stuff that you can get as an AARP member, and I'm just thinking like, no, you have to be, a senior or whatever, but no, there's a lot of benefits that you can get from that. So definitely, Chelsea, looking at those ways, rewards, kids eat free. I know in Fredericksburg they have a Taco Tuesday, it's $1. So every Tuesday, that's where you find me. Again, though, but they kind of trick you because they have the Taco Tuesdays, but then they have all the other stuff. So sometimes you end up spending a little bit more. But yes, being very, very choosy on where we go based off of what we can get, I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
yes, you just want to be smart about it. You really pay attention to what you drink and how much you drink.
Bring a
you
flask.
know,
You know
you
what I
know,
mean?
and and so a lot of the rewards and things like that, they're good. They have good, but just be smart in reference to what you do with the awards, and if what are they upselling you on something else or and things of that sort. But yes, if you use it to your advantage, there are some things that you can do to cut costs. Yes, yes, most
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, and speaking of the cash and cash cards, if you the gas stations still that I see, if you pay cash, you get a certain amount. And also, certain gas stations have specials on different days, like Tuesdays and Thursdays and things of that sort. So start paying attention to some of those things. And if you have cash, you can spend. I think you can save. I don't think either 5 cents or 8 cents sometime on a gallon of gas. So that makes a difference. And
Mhm.
so pay attention to those things.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Mhm.
definitely, definitely, and when some folks could argue, man, I don't have time for that. I mean, they just keep moving, but at the end of the day, if you strategize and implement, like what we're talking about, even calling, to see if you have a reduction or a plan. I mean, yes, you can wait on the line for, I don't know, there are 80 calls in front of you. But I mean, but if you're gonna get a discount, I mean, that's like getting paid for that time. If you, it's kind of perspective, you valuing your time, because at the end of the day, that what comes down to. If he's gonna save you on monthly recurring payments, in the long run, it's gonna be make a huge difference. And one of the things that you were mentioning, Charlene, when you said Larry, 28 years in happy hour, in the campaign here and the workshops, that's why they are so powerful. One simple example, we say that if we were to put away $17, a day, which equates about $500, a month, in a financial vehicle that earns you about 8%. That's relatively, decent. And if he's 30 years, because money needs time to grow. I mean, you surpassed $1 million. That's why when I met Chelsea, I was like, Chelsea, I wish I was your age. Because, and that's one of the folks, because we lament. I mean, it's never too late to start, but when you don't plan properly for the first 10 years, 20 years, it gets really difficult to catch up, you know. That is goes in line with what we're talking about here, the discipline. And again, it comes down to the goals, you know, where you are, where you want to go, how you want to get there, and what vehicles are going to take you there. So, yeah, yes. So budgeting it is essential for financial freedom, and in order to get our finances in order.
Yeah, Victor, you just remind me of one thing that we always say in our presentations. Are you too busy during the first half of your life to prepare for the second half? Okay. And I present that every single day, and I talk to so many people, different ages, different backgrounds, and I really think I'm so thankful that this did come to me at my age, because I'm preparing my first half. So the second half, I don't have to worry. I could be Larry's age and have fun, right?
Right.
So it's just thinking about that too. You can sacrifice a little bit now. You don't Doesn't mean you don't have to stop having fun. Doesn't mean you have to stop traveling or stop eating out. Yes, you can still do those things, but like we've been saying, budget, be strategic. If you want, ladies, how many times we get our hair done, our eyelashes, eyebrows, nails done, try to, like, my nail lady, she knows I come in every single month the same time, so she gave me a little discount because she knows I'm going to be there, and I always give her a good tip. So just finding those little things, right? Where it says, let's work out a deal,
Right. That building
and
relationships.
building the relationship, right? I'm loyal to you, you're loyal to me, and she charged other people 70, and then she's gonna charge me 50. So I think that's pretty good.
I agree. I definitely agree. We can't hear you. Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right. Yes, that sounds good. Yeah. And okay, we're. I really appreciate the topic for tonight and budgeting. And I think that definitely I've learned a lot here. And our audience, I'm quite sure that got a lot out of here, and maybe can look at some of the things they don't, because everyone have different habits, different things that they do, and things that we can relook and consider tightening up on, especially during these times. I think hopefully we're at the worst of times, but I've seen things get another could go a little bit further south, and so we need to prepare for that. And I think it's a good topic to talk and bring that conversation up, to our audience, our community, but everyone should also make an audience to bring the conversation at your home, at your dinner table. All right, and we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. And Victor or Shelly, y'all like to let us know what's going on, what's coming up, what's your announcements that you're doing in the near future?
Okay, absolutely, Larry. Yes. Next, we're going to next Thursday. We will presenting, how to protect what you already built. Proper protection, because that is very important. That's what we're going to talk about, and different strategies and how to do that. But before we sign off, if I have the opportunity to share one more thing, Larry, that's okay with you? Let's see. If you can take a moment. All right. So for all of our viewers out there, basically, one of the ways that we help talking about budgeting, and this is a personal finance strategy that Chelsea and I could sit down with you and help you map this out. It's like having a GPS. When you have your goals up here and you know where you're going, and in ingredients, when it comes to the topics, it is basically budgeting. So we take anything from rent, HOA, as you can see, pet expenses, sharing, car sharing, medical, and we list it all. So we know exactly where your money goes, liabilities, assets, and we have the whole deal, if you will, we a holistic view of finances. We're not attorneys, but we do work with a buffet of attorneys, law firms that can help you with will and trust, and because we take a picture of the whole finances as a whole. So I just wanted to highlight that. So that's that kind of help that you will get when you contact Chelsea or myself. And I encourage you to come and learn about the workshops. Again, we are in a mission to educate 30 million people by the year 2030, because this education that unfortunately is not being taught at school, but I came at my right age that I can take the concepts and run with it. And so I'm very thankful. But just to remind our audiences one more time, here is our contact information. And here is also Chelsea's, if you will want to get a hold of her or how to contact her. You can scan the code for her information, and that's my number, and that's my page. But I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here, spending the time with us. And I hope we added value. You learn some things about our discussion, because budgeting, it is a key ingredient of getting our finances in order.
All right.
Super.
And when you were stating, Victor, how to get in contact with you, I don't know, the screen, the information wasn't popping up on the screen.
All right, let me go ahead and see if I can check. Thank you for that. Give me one moment. Let's see if I can get that back. Yes. Okay, here we go. Okay, how about now? Is that visible?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, great. Yes, there we go. All right. So yes, somebody has any questions, they can reach out. And yes, here we are. This is our information, and you can scan the barcode for Chelsea, so you can get in touch with her. And as you mentioned, this is totally free. We just do finance. We let you know where you are, where your goals are, and what potentially you could be in the next 5, 10 years. And that's what we do. That's one of my favorite parts to do here. So I just wanted to let you all know that. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Victor, for this evening, and Chelsea. Thank you guys for coming on this evening, and looking forward to having you back next week, next Thursday, where we're going to be covering protection, and you also have building the credit worthiness as well. So
Exactly.
we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Okay, Charlene, our next first time homebuyer class is going to be next month, and of course we're gonna let's tell them a little bit what's covered in our first time homebuyer workshop.
So our next first time homebuyers workshop is going to be November 15th. What is covered? So remember what I said in the opening of our conversation about, First Home Alliance providing pre-purchase counseling education. That education is that class, and what we cover is kind of the gist of the home buying process. So you have the industry experts. You're not just going to see one person. So you'll have someone who is the expert with the lender, the realtor, home inspector, closing. They're going to come and talk to you about some of the things that I'm always saying we don't have enough time because it's only a 6-hour class, so we can't make you an expert, but we can talk to you about the right questions that you need to be asking during this process. And so we talk about that. And I'm sorry, guys. I have my great niece in the background, and so I'm sorry if you guys hear that. So we have our industry experts to come out and talk to you about what to expect in that transaction. We want to make it where home buying process shouldn't be stressful. So we have the experts come out, talk to you about what to expect to make this transaction or this the whole process in itself more, easier.
Super. All right. Of course, check out our website and go ahead and join us. That's on November 15th for our first time homebuyer workshop, where we're going to walk you through the process to become a successful homeowner. And guess what? Before then, our annual event is going to be November the 8th. It's going to be held at the Garden Hilton Inn in Woodbridge. And this is our annual fundraiser where we come together and we celebrate. We celebrate our accomplishments during the year, And we also talk. We hand out some awards. We hand out some awards. I'm trying to get that in the background there. We hand out some awards, to our community partners, and it's a nice dinner. There's a networking reception that starts at 6 o'clock, and so join us for the networking reception at 6, and then the formal event at 7:30, and then after that we actually going to have some entertainment. In this entertainment, we're going to have a DJ and nice music throughout to the rest of the night. Now, earlier during the day, we're partnering with the American Legion Post 114. And the American Legion Post 114 is hosting a Veterans Appreciation Luncheon. Veteran Appreciation Luncheon. And we have a number of guests that are going to be there. So some of your elected officials on your local level, we're talking about from Manassas and also Prince William County, will be attending. And so we're gonna honor some of our veterans that have served, as late as one of the veterans that has served in the Korean War, and also those that have served in some most recent wars as well. And so please join the American Legion Post 114. That event will start at 11:30. Check out our website and also on the social media. You'll get more information in reference to how you can join us for each of those events. And if you're a private businessman, you also like to brand your company, is some sponsorship opportunities, exhibit opportunities out there that you can do so. So please take those advantage of those opportunities, support the local organizations and your community. And again, I want to say thank everyone for joining us tonight, and thank our guests, our speakers, Victor and Chelsea, and of course Charlene for coming in. That was a nice conversation and powerful for our community. So I want to say again, thank you, and everyone have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Chelsea. Bye-bye.